So I'm happy to talk about or answer any questions and just have a discussion about what you would like to see from this campaign and the Secretary of State's office. And as someone who's running and seeking the Democratic nomination, as the only person who's doing that right now, it's important to me that our campaign for this office as Democrats reflects what the party values are and what the needs are. So I really hope you all join me in this campaign so that we can make sure that it's informed and that it's reflective of your views, your values, and that we're successful in gathering all those votes, not only for this office, but for all the Democratic offices on the ticket, including Senator Percy from Houghton. Is he?
He's from
state senator.
He's from Nagani, Ishmael area, but he represents us.
Yeah. So, and of course he's term limited out, so that's going to be a big Senate race battle as well. And it's very important that the Democrats keep the Senate. So, I'm happy to talk to you about our campaign in our office, but also emphasize that we're building this campaign to help Democrats across the board as well, because it's important that we all win in November 2010. But I will say, as a footnote to that, as Secretary of State, I would be completely neutral and would be intent on, and I've said this publicly to the press, on making sure that partisanship does not come into play in how that office is run. Just when I say we're running this campaign to help Democrats, I need to emphasize that I'm saying that as a candidate. As Secretary of State, I would operate, of course, very differently. So I'm happy to take any questions, comments, thoughts, and really just kind of begin this conversation that I hope will continue over the course of the next year and a half up until Election Day and then beyond, because I want you all to be involved in this campaign. Even if it's just, if I can help raise money for the county party some way, or however, it's our job as candidates for the Democratic Party to help you all do the great work that you're doing here on the ground and turning Houghton County into. Yes?
One of the most important things is to make sure you run a highly visible campaign, much more visible than the past two Secretary of State's races, particularly in the Upper Peninsula in Houghton.
And when any of you have a question, would you introduce who you are and if you hold office? Or
I'm Anton Pinter. I'm a member of the Houghton County Board of Commissioners.
Nice to meet you. I'll pass this around to say on that note, we are building this email list now of people, so please, if you want to keep informed on our campaign, sign up to get information. But yeah, that's why it's June 3rd, 2009 and I'm here. Because right now we're visiting every county to build our team and to build excitement around what we're doing, which is really innovative, and it is what has won for Democrats in Ohio, Minnesota, California, across the country, West Virginia, Montana. So we're building a campaign that's poised to win for the Democrats, but it will only win by building this 83 county infrastructure that will help us be visible, because it's not just about television and radio, it's about that grassroots work, that door-to-door advocacy. So I'm here tonight to help recruit hopefully a county coordinator or two, and that'll help keep us visible as an individual campaign, and then really hear from you all on how we can maintain that visibility throughout the next year and a half. But I think on my recent campaign staff call, we were laughing because everyone sort of says we're everywhere, and people have come up to me and said, "Are there 4 of you?" Because I was in Alpena this morning, Petoskey last night, Lansing 48 hours ago. So yeah, we will go everywhere around the state, because that's what you need from a Secretary of State. You need a Secretary of State who knows every single corner of the state and knows what the problems are in every corner of the state, and that's what we're trying to build a campaign that is able to do. There's another
I'm Ann Pace. I live in Hancock. I was sort of interested to hear your thoughts about the residency requirement in the state of Michigan and how that relates to the registration process.
Do you mean the requirement that says your voter registration address must match your driver's license address?
I think it's the 30 days residency.
Oh, okay. That you have to register to vote 30 days. Yes. That's something that, so in Michigan we have a requirement that you have to register to vote 30 days before the election as a way of proving that you've been a resident 30 days before the election. That's what it's based in. But registration laws, interestingly enough, actually developed in the late 1890s. The same time, literacy tests, poll taxes, and several other different barriers to vote were passed around the country. So they're actually born out of this effort to create barriers to voting. And if you think about it, it really is. You have to register to vote before you actually vote. And so to address this, a bunch of states like Minnesota, Iowa, Montana, Wyoming, Maine, have allowed people to register to vote on election day. If you show up, you're not in the polling place on election day. Now some require you go to the clerk's office and register before, but they still allow you to do it on election day. That's what they have in place in New Hampshire. But obviously every state is different with how different things are able to be implemented, because everyone has different cultures and types of infrastructures. But that said, so Michigan is one of the few states that still require people to register to vote 30 days before the election. Many states say 20 days, a week, 10 days, and some have early voting also, which enables you to vote before election day. And so in some states like North Carolina, you can register to vote up until, let's say, a week before the election, but you can vote up to 3 weeks before the election. So there's a time period in North Carolina where there's an overlap in which you can actually register to vote and vote at your clerk's office. You vote early, but you do it all at the same time. So you don't have to make 2 trips, essentially. And I think we need to really explore that, because I think other states that have that have found, first of all, Michigan is 7th in the country for turnout. Every state above us, and I actually don't think that it's great that we're 7th, but I think we should be number 1. I don't think we should be satisfied by saying we're 7th and then go home. We get to be number 1 by saying, well, every state above us allows voters to register to vote on election day or at the time when they cast their ballot. Now, if we implement a policy like that, I want to bring in Mark Ritchie, the Secretary of State of Minnesota, or the Secretary of State Michael Morrow of Iowa, to help instruct us how to do it in a way that runs smoothly. And that's one of the great benefits of having written this book, that I know these secretaries and I can bring them to help inform how we do things here. But I would love to see something that would enable voters to register to vote on election day, like that young woman.
I think that would be an improvement.
Yeah.